Hello world, how y'all doing? It's your boy Boss Ryder checking in again for Navigate Logistics. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, can I get that like? You can join the tribe and subscribe, and you can share if you really care. This is gonna be part 2, which I think I'm gonna do a series called Carriers versus Brokers. It's gonna be a part 2, a little recap on the part 1. I was talking about the issue I was having with the detention that got denied, which was unfair and unreasonable to me. I vented a little bit about how carriers, how we have to wait on our money, we got to do factoring, some have to come out the pocket for dispatching, and I don't know, I'm not sure if brokers have to do factoring, which if I had to take a guess, they probably don't. Like I said before, I might be a little biased because I am a carrier, but it ain't looking fair so far. Seems the carriers are at a disadvantage. We're the ones transporting the product to and from. Like I said before, we're required to be safe. We have all these rules and regulations. We have to be tracked. We get called. We have to often fight to try to get the rate that we need to keep our business profitable. A lot of brokers give us a hard time, and we're just really trying to make sure that our business can be profitable. Majority of the loads that's posted are below most people's costs, so we always got to ask for some more money. And like I said before, I'm a spot market carrier, so I get my loads off the load boards. This is majority of owner operators channel. So that was the recap of the first video, and we just want to continue because unfortunately I had another issue. Today's September the 16th, and this past week I've done a lot of night driving. Just how things started off with that first load in the first video I was talking about, that I had to drive overnight to get to Jacksonville because of the situation with the detention pay. So that continued. Once you flip like that, then you know probably gonna be driving night throughout the week, and that's pretty much what it was. I had to book my loads, and I had to do a lot of night riding, which I don't mind doing. It's safer that way to me because it's less traffic out there on the road, and I can sleep during the day when it's hot. I let the truck run idle and stuff like that. So yeah, this next situation on the topic at hand, carriers versus brokers. I'm gonna try to keep this short because I'm about to get ready to eat. Just got a shower and everything. And here it is come Friday. This is the second load that I got booked with this brokerage, because I got a good relationship with the broker. Well, I'm not sure, like I said, is a broker agent or a broker, because the first issue that I had with the detention pay, I thought I was dealing directly with him, but the guy who rejected my detention was another person. And when I called the broker that I have a relationship with, he was saying that he was trying to explain that to the broker as well. So I don't know if they working together and they in cahoots with trying to, you know, not spend the money on detention or what. You know, I just took the word for it, kept it professional, and we had already had a load booked up for the end of the week, which I picked up on the 15th, which was Friday, and had another issue. The load was scheduled to be picked up at 9:00 p.m. I had got to the shipper early, maybe like I was able to take a 10-hour break sitting outside the shipper because I got there so early. So, you know, it was cool. I got some time to rest, and reflect, do some paperwork and things. The pickup time was for 9 p.m. and the delivery time for 3 a.m. on the 16th. A little short run, 4-hour run, from Bloomingdale, Georgia to Jefferson, Georgia. Might as well say Savannah to Athens, or Gainesville. So yeah, I got there. I called them because I read over the rate confirmation, and I called them earlier that day, and I was like, I just had a few questions, and the main question I wanted to know was, are they going to be covering the lumper fee? Because you got to read the rate confirmations all the time. Everything that's on that rate confirmation they can hold you to, and you have to abide by it. So in the rate confirmation, they stated that convenience fees are non-refundable, and something about lumper services and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure that they wasn't saying that they don't cover lumper fees. So I called and I was like, do y'all cover lumper fees? He was like, yeah, they cover lumper fees, but the convenience fee, which is around $5 to $6, they don't cover that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of times these lumper fees, they can get pretty expensive, depending on what the commodity is or where you're going and stuff like that. And for those who don't know what a lumper fee is, that's something else as far as an issue that carriers have to deal with. When we get unloaded, a lot of times these receivers, they don't unload the product themselves. They'll hire a third-party company to do the unloading, and that company will charge the truck driver for that service, and it can be anywhere from $75 to $150, even more. And back in the days, the drivers used to have to come out of the pocket and brokers to pay you back, and sometimes it can be a hassle with trying to get that money back. So I wanted to get that straight. And to me, that's another thing, that's another issue. Like I was saying, we get the product there. Our thing is get there on time, because that's what they hassle us about. If you're late, they're going to give you a service failure. It's going to go on your record. It's going to be harder for you to book loads and make money. They hold you to that. We can't hold them to how fast they pay us. They have up to 30 days as far as brokers to pay a carrier. We can't hold them accountable if they don't pay. It is some things you can do, but it's not set in stone. They can get away with it a lot easier than we can, being late and having issues out here on the road as far as making deliveries and pickups on time. So us having to deal with paying for somebody to unload the product is something I don't think carriers should have to deal with. Brokers will pay for it, and they pay fast, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes if it's after hours, it's hard to get in contact with them, and you have to have that already agreed upon how you're going to do it. That's why I called the guy the day before, and he was like, yeah, just call after hours. I'm going to put it in the notes that you're already approved for it. They use Comdata and stuff like that. I said, okay, cool. So that's how that went. I pulled up to the shipper around 8:30. I was right across the street. I parked right across the street, camped out. So I pulled up at 8:30. It was a cold storage, Americold. And I used to deal with them a lot when I used to pull refrigerated trailers. So I got there. They got me in the door like 9:15. When I got there at the door, before they got me in the door, he was like, hey man, we go on break at 9 o'clock. I was like, okay, well, why did they set the appointment at 9 o'clock? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a tight window. They want me there at 3 o'clock in the morning. He was like, I don't know why they did that. So that's one issue. That's another issue. Who scheduled these loads as far as pickups and deliveries? Like, the pickup to me could have been scheduled earlier to give me a more window of getting the product there. And so, but it was scheduled from 9 to 3. That's not a lot of time when you got a 4.5 hour trip. So he's like, we go on lunch at 9. We come back at 10. We'll start on you at 10. I said, so how fast can y'all get me loaded? Because it's a tight window. I don't know why they schedule at 3 a.m., but we try to get it load it as fast as possible, but you're getting 34 pallets, a full load. I said, all right, cool. I called after hours and let them know. The guy after hours night shift, he was like, okay, well, when you get loaded, give us a call back, let us know. All right, cool. While I did that, I made sure that he checked the notes to make sure that it was in that I'm approved for the lumper fee and all that stuff. And they was like, yeah, I just had to double check. I don't like wasting my time. But earlier when I talked to the broker, I told him, look, I'm right across the street. I wish they could load me earlier. You know what I'm saying? He must ain't pay me no attention. Because if I'm a broker, I'm going to see if I can get that load picked up early. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to do some extra work. It seems like carriers, we have to do extra work. We have to email these brokers. We have to keep them updated. We do a lot of communicating. All they do is, load check. Nowadays, they don't even load check as far as calling and texting. They, because we got these tracking apps. So they get the load from the shipper. They post it on the load board. They take their percentage off top. And when you get them on the phone, then they're negotiating with you how much money they want to give you out the money that they already cut. So they both post it on the load. You pick it up. They set up the tracking, whatever. They don't do nothing else. Like I told you before, when I was having that issue, when I was on a tight schedule on the first part one, when I asked the broker to give the receiver a heads up because I would be getting there at 1:50 and the appointments for 2, they never called. So that's another thing. They don't really do too much. We do a lot of extra work. I wasn't really supposed to be doing all that, but I'm doing it as a professional communicating. So what happened last night, they started around 10:30. They didn't get finished. I fell asleep and everything. They didn't get finished till midnight. Before I fell asleep at 10:45, 11 o'clock, I looked in the GPS and they said I would get there right at 2:50. So I already knew it was going to be late. The appointment was for 3 o'clock in the morning. I already knew it was going to be late. That's why I called them and let them know, hey, I ain't even the door yet. They ain't start loading. They said, let us know once you load it. So at 12 o'clock, once they was done knocking on my door, telling me, they're loaded, I get the paperwork, I called after hours and they didn't pick up. So I ended up leaving a voicemail, let them know, hey, this is going to be late. My ETA is saying around 4:50 right now. So can somebody please call the receiver and notify them that this is what the situation is. And it's only because the shipper took their time loading me, which whoever set the appointment up, pickups and delivery, should have gave more window. You know what I'm saying? More time window. I'm just going by what the rate confirmation said. If it told me I had to be there at 8, 7, whatever, that's what I'm agreeing upon. If you tell me I'll be there at 9 and it said delivery at 3, I'm assuming that this run could be done with no issues. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do, keep safe, and abide by all the rules and regulations on the road, then I can get this load there. I left the voicemail. I drove straight from 12 to 4:50 in the morning. I actually got there a little early. I always tell them I'm going to be there later than what my original ETA is. That way I have a little wiggle room, just in case you got to pull over, do a check, use the bathroom or whatever. So I get there like 4:35. The guard lady, security guard, she was very nice, and she was like, look, I hate to tell you this, but we cut off at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, wow. She's like, yeah, we cut off at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're going to have to come back at 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because I told them I was going to be late. I was right there in Savannah. All they had to do was call the receiver. They should have already knew this information. You know what I'm saying? Like the broker, when I talked to him that day earlier, he could have told me right then, if you can't make it there at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have to wait till 9 o'clock that night. Just keep us posted. Let us know what's going on. He could have told me that right there if he was professional and up on his game and everything and took everything serious like I do when I'm out here on the road and I'm doing business. But he didn't. And night shift didn't. They could have told me right then when I called. They could have picked up the phone at midnight and let me know right then. They could have called me back when I talked to them before midnight. Look, this is the situation. Because what could have happened was, if I know I couldn't make there at 3 o'clock, I would have just went home. I live like 2 hours away from Savannah, so I could have just went home, got my time in, and left, like 6 o'clock and made it there at 9 p.m. Everything would have been cool. But nobody communicated but me. I ended up getting to the receiver. They told me I had to come back at 9 o'clock. So here I am when I was supposed to be taking 2 days off, which I ain't have 2 days off in all of August. I've really been on my grind because this market is so messed up. You got to keep the wheels turning. You got to do what you got to do. That's what I have to do to keep my bills paid and keep everything running smoothly in this market right now. It's a mess. But I choose to be doing what I'm doing, and I ain't I'm gonna hold my head up high and be determined to overcome this. But back to the topic at hand, carriers versus brokers. I've done everything I needed to do as a professional. The brokers could have did a lot better. And I just want the situation between the brokers and the carriers to be a lot better. You know what I'm saying? The communication to be a lot better. The relationships to be a lot better and more professional. Me as a carrier, I know how I handle my business. I talk to more carriers than I do brokers. And since we got to work together, I don't see why the situation is the way it is. They should have more information about the shippers and the receivers about what to do if you're going to be late. They got it in the bills. They want to charge you $150, $250 if you're late, and if you're not tracking, they can charge you $100. All kind of crazy stuff in these rate confirmations that you got to read and fine print that they can hold you accountable, taking out of the money that you depend on when you signed up to take that load, because you need every penny to keep your business running. But if you're late, if you're not tracking, they want to take $100. Like, that's $10.10. Or $250 if you're late. Like, tire problems don't happen, inspections don't happen, breakdowns don't happen. But they want to charge you for every little thing like that. But we can't hold them accountable. So with this series, I just want people to take this series and give me some feedback in the comment section. How fair is it for the carriers? How fair is it for the brokers? How these relationships can be better? What needs to change? And how things can change. Because I'm just speaking from experience. I don't really have nothing personal against any brokers. Like I said, all the brokers I work with, I have a good relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? So I just need the business to run better. You know what I'm saying? The professionalism to be held higher standards. So what happened was, I can't go home on Saturday because I can't get this load off. I got to stay around here and wait till 9 p.m. to get this load off. And I'm not going to get home until Saturday night, which I already had plans to let my family know that I'll be home. It's going to be a 2-day weekend. I'm already planning my weekend out. I've already busted my butt and did what I had to do. This is supposed to be my last little short run. Drop that off and boom. But because the brokers, the people that I'm working with, ain't do their job, now here it is. And it's going to cost them more money. Because what happened with the first load in part 1, where they denied my detention and they said something about the app marking me as departed, which I didn't even mark arrived or departed. They went in there and did it on themselves. Go back and watch that video. This time I made sure it didn't do that. And this time I sent emails so they couldn't say that. And this time I did everything on top of everything that I did before to make sure they can't deny me for my detention this time. It's going to be 2 hours of detention they owe me for, as well as a layover. For those who don't know what a layover is when you have to sit on a load that was scheduled to be delivered but can't be delivered for circumstances that's beyond your capabilities of changing. And that's exactly what happened. If somebody would have told me that I can't deliver at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would have made arrangements. They would have told me that at 10 o'clock when I'm at the door, or 11 o'clock, I might just give them that load back. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for us to do this. Because if I'm going to pick this load up, y'all going to be paying extra money. They're going to be paying extra money now. They're going to owe me for detention pay, and they're going to owe me for layover. Most of the time, layover is like $250. Detention pay could be anywhere from $50 an hour, or, every company is different. But now you're going to pay extra money. And I'm not trying to hear no excuses. I'm not trying to see no rejection. So who knows what's gonna happen come Monday or whenever they call me, about this situation. And hey man, I'm trying to do business out here, but just like they hold us accountable and don't want to do business with carriers that's always late or having issues, I'm gonna have to do the same thing as far as with these brokerages. If they don't want to pay detention, layover, if they're not professional, if they don't want to communicate and do their due diligence to make sure this load can get there on time and everything, this is perishable goods, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that people need, food and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? They ain't called me none today. They should be checking to see what's going on, you know what I'm saying? So this just part 2. I didn't think part 2 was gonna come this fast in the same week, but here we are. I'd like to thank y'all for checking in once again. It's your boy Boss Ryder, Navigate Logistics. Please give me that like, join the tribe and subscribe. Share if you really care. I'm gonna follow up on part 3. We're gonna see how this goes. If they're gonna pay me my detention, if they're gonna pay me my layover. Unfortunately, I don't get the 2 days at the house with my kids and my family and my friends. But it is what it is. Got to do what we got to do. So that's it. I'm finna get ready to eat and chill out. Thank everybody for tuning in once again. It's your boy Boss Ryder. Peace.